Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap Podcast.com.
We're back.
Yes, we are. Back again.
And we actually have two barrel-aged beers.
We do.
As opposed to previous episodes where we've done barrel-aged beers. I think we've done a lot of barrel-aged beers.
That is a predominant theme of our podcast. It is a predominant theme of the brewing industry as a whole, is
Right.
barrel-aged stouts, barley wines, IPAs, lagers. I mean, they're just barrel-aging everything these days.
Yes, but I feel we haven't done enough. So we brought one beer each, and I'm going to introduce the one you brought.
And I'll introduce the one you brought.
Yes. So Porterhouse Brewing Company, and they have to be from England, right?
Yeah, sure.
Let's guess it. They've made a Imperial Irish Stout aged in Dingle whiskey barrels called Around the Clock. So it has two selling features. One is that it's brewed continuously for 24 hours by Porterhouse Brewing Company, and that it's matured in bourbon barrels for 250 days.
Oh, wow. So a little over a year.
So that's pretty cool.
Right.
No,
How many
that's
days in a
not.
year? 365 days in a year, right? 300. What? How
almost
many?
2/3 of a year.
Yeah, 365 days.
No.
Wait, 365 days.
Yes, of course.
Right, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I thought you said 356.
no.
And this beer is 12.5% ABV, and I'm hoping that we get a lot of bourbon barrel aged.
Yes. And this is batch number 3. So if you've tried previous batches, this is the third batch. And what's also interesting is on the back, it appears to be a small book of notes and text, which is written in the 1.5 what do you call it? Pico font or whatever. It's the smallest of smallest text.
But that's because it lists ingredients in like 15 different languages.
Well, the paragraph on top though.
This follow-on release of Around the Clock Imperial Stout has been aged for 250 days and is the further refinement of our boundary-pushing barrel-aged beers. An enhanced mash bill of seven different malts complement our 7 separate hop additions during brewing. The flavors from this beer are combined with our 24-hour brew boil, creating an even fuller, smoother stout. The resulting beer has matured in freshly emptied bourbon casks from the Dingle Distillery for 250 days. The outcome is an even more bold, rich, dark Imperial Stout. Let's smell it.
Well, I'm going to prejudge this beer and say it's a 3.25.
Oh my god.
And the reason I say this is just looking at the beer in the glass, it looks really thin.
It does look very thin.
Yes, and the smell is extremely slight.
Slightly malty, smallest of hints of barrel.
And so what I say prejudge was a
325.
325?
I want it to be better.
I want it to be better too, but I'm just saying, based on past, the only thing that's really saving this is the lacing on the glass. When you agitate it, is really nice and slowly descends down the side.
Yes.
So that gives me hope, but based on the look and the smell, I already am prejudging this beer. So it can only get better or worse from this point on. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, the mouthfeel was exactly what I expected. Kind of thin, a little watery, not much happening. Flavors were
Lots of roasted malts, a little bit of licorice.
yeah, there's a little licorice, a little burnt malt kind of flavor there. It's
Not a lot of bourbon.
if I didn't know this was bourbon barrel aged,
I wouldn't know.
I would say this is almost like a 7% stout,
Yeah, right.
Because there's no richness, there's no fullness, there's no mouthfeel. It's thin, it's watery, it's
Looking at it, it's dark amber. It's not Imperial Stout
there's
black.
a slight tannic quality in the aftertaste.
No, I'm disappointed.
Yes. for what this is and the idea of a 24-hour brew and aged in barrels for 250 days,
Yeah.
I expected a lot richer, more depth of character. Because if you're going to boil it for that long, I mean, we've tried, what was it? It was Maria...
It was Maria Torget made an imperial stout that was made for that long.
Yeah.
And that was almost motor oil.
Yeah, it was
Viscosity.
thick, rich, syrupy kind of. I mean, syrupy in the viscosity actually here.
Yeah.
It really applies because it was really deeply like flavored.
Right.
This is the almost exact opposite of that beer.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Every single beer that touts itself as being multiple hour brew is always thick because that's the goal of doing it that long.
Right, because you boil down the wort and it's concentrated,
Right.
and then you actually usually have to add more water to boil it down again. And this just feels like they boiled it down and then they just dumped water on top, and they're like, job done. We've thinned it down enough that we can make however much they need to make.
Right, but could it be like so? Hagger makes an imperial stout called double black mash.
Mm-hmm.
So there they might have added more water. So that's the double mash, meaning that it can condense further. Maybe they just made this as a 2% see-through 1,000-liter concoction, and then they just brewed that down into this, so it never had the chance to become thick. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But it is definitely missing the mark. I said 3.25 to begin with. We're going to drop to 2.5.
Wow. I'm going to give it your original 3.25.
No.
Because I like this burnt malt licorice thing.
The flavor isn't bad. It's just that the mouthfeel is so just meh. It's almost kind of gross in some ways. All right, so moving on.
The beer I brought.
The beer you brought, which is Bevog Brewery, which this is a barrel aged barley wine. It's at 12.2%. It's called Hagger, and Bevog is Norwegian,
Austrian.
This is a blend of selected barrel aged barley wine. The complex aromas and taste of dried fruit, dark and sweet caramel, vanilla, coconut, cocoa, slight roast, and berries is a product of a complex brewing technique combined with the carefully monitored maturations in oak barrels. The bulk of it is bourbon barrel aged, and the rest can be aged in other spirit barrels.
Cool. And this is blend 0221.
Yes. So this is the most of it's bourbon barrel aged, but then there could be other spirit barrels also involved. So who knows what's in this?
They've blended it to perfection and beyond.
Woohoo! So barrel aged barley wine. It smells really good.
It smells better. It smells more vanilla barrel
You
aged.
definitely get the barrel aging on this.
And a bit of sweet dried fruits.
Yes. Well, that's what the label said. They wouldn't lie.
They would never lie.
No.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's try it.
There is a spicy herbal note in there that I quite like.
Yeah, that almost goes into a slightly acidic, almost sour direction.
Yeah, for a barley wine, this has a lot of herbaceous qualities to it.
Yeah.
Kind of in a what do you call the liquors that you're supposed to take as digestive, almost like a digestive kind of. Yeah, that's what it's called, digestive. So it's kind of like a digestive style. Like you can see someone like, oh, I just need a small sip of the Hagger afterwards to calm my stomach.
You mean like the Jägermeister family of spirits, like the Kreuter bitters and stuff?
Something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Because there is a lot of herbal qualities I get through this.
I can say one thing: the experience in the mouth is not boring at all. It's kind of an explosion of flavors, and you need to figure out, whoa, what just happened? What's that flavor? What's that flavor?
I get a lot of wood in this, some tannins. The carbonation is like spot on. Like when you agitate in your mouth, it just produces all of this bubbles and really fill it across your palate. Which brings in a lot of extra flavors. And then afterwards, you're just like, it's a little sweet, it's a little tangy. I'm liking this.
Yeah, the bottle is really cute. It's this like stubby little bottle.
It looks like a medicine extract from the 1800s. Like you expect this to have a glass stopper on the top.
And I mean the labeling, just it has this little choker.
It is like literally a little choker. I would say the attention to detail on this is really good. They've really done a great job with the production, the aesthetics going into the bottle itself, which we don't usually comment on because it's usually not a qualifying factor for the beers. They're almost always dark bottles with long necks.
It's identical bottles.
Yeah.
But I enjoy when stuff like this stands out. It usually doesn't really affect my overall rating or experience of the beer.
It's usually a gimmick, like the Green Buddha bottles.
Oh jeez. Yeah, the light lager from those are
just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But this is.
But I enjoy, like, it's fun to own. I've had fun owning this bottle until we now open it, because it's been in my fridge and I've been like, ooh, right, that one exists.
Like, I need to try that.
The other ones, you need to like look at the label closely, like, oh right, this is that version or whatever. Or cans, you can only see the first layer of cans. If you have cans behind that, you just see the silver top and you go, I need to look through this. This one stands out, and that's the only reason why I would focus on the appearance.
Quick question. Whenever you put your beers in the fridge, do you pre-classify them? Like, do you have this is my IPA group, this is my sour group, these are my stouts, or do you just kind of like shove everything in there and you don't even care?
With cans, no. I don't really categorize them, but beers I'm really looking forward to trying fresh, I will always make sure that they are near the front of the fridge.
Well, I mean, that just makes sense.
And stuff that I just bought from Systembolagets, like ordering inventory, some random Swedish lagers and stuff. Those will automatically be put at the back because I couldn't be bothered to care about them.
Yeah.
That's the only real categorization I do. I try not to have my bottles lying down in my fridge. I try to have them filling up the door of the fridge.
Why don't you want them laying down?
Why? I don't know. I feel like I'm not maximizing the space usage of my fridge because I hate stacking lying bottles on top of each other, like in a pyramid. That just feels like I can never take the bottom bottle.
You have to rearrange things, yeah.
And that's
So yeah, I do a IPAs to the left, sours to the right. Lagers are usually somewhere in the middle. Maybe there's some other types that are kind of scattered in there, but those are usually your three mains. And then my top row is always stouts usually.
nice.
So it's kind of an easy categorization of knowing when I go in, I was like, oh, I feel like this. I know kind of where to go for it.
But you have the added benefit of having a dedicated beer fridge.
True.
My regular fridge has to compete with food.
But I've seen your fridge. There's not much competition there.
I mean, if there's too much beer, how could you ever put food in there?
Exactly.
And then my dedicated beer fridge is 100% lambics. And those are lying down because they're in...
Well, you have to. Yeah.
Because they're in this kind of wine... It's actually a wine fridge.
It is a wine fridge, yeah.
And that's very noticeable because I cannot put a 75 centiliter lambic bottle in every space, because they start pushing like on the layer above, and then one layer nothing can. So it like half of the layers need to be 37 centiliter bottles.
Well, that's the other problem with my fridge, is because it's a smaller size, so it's like big bottles go in the door, and then if anything else that doesn't fit that needs to lie down, which is usually bigger bottles, it goes in the bottom compartment. So what happened was, a number of years ago, many years ago, I came back from vacation and my refrigerator had died.
Oh no!
And so it was a rush to, I want to say IKEA, maybe, I don't know, another big box store, and picked up a small fridge just so that I could, we have a refrigerator so our food wouldn't go bad.
Right.
And then after we got a new fridge, it became my beer fridge.
Makes sense. So what do you think about Bevog Hagger?
I quite enjoy this. So I mean, almost a... I'm going to go 4.25.
Me too, but it's a weak 4.25. It's almost a 4.
Well,
it's good. It's good, but it's also kind of strange. The tea aspect, the herbal tea, doesn't really fit there. That prevents it from going higher.
For me, that's what makes it go higher, because
it makes it pop.
Yeah, because it is something a little different, and the herbaceousness works with the beer, not against it. So it feels like you're getting a whole experience.
Yep. Now I'm getting some chocolate.
From
this one in a nice way. Oh, but definitely a 4.25.
Yeah, it's quite pleasant and fun, and I'm really glad to try it. Okay, well, that's another episode.
You can find us online at whatsontap.com, on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Amazon, and basically wherever you can find high quality podcasts. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.